need anyone to tell me I'm on. It's self-evident.
Not to us necessarily.
Hey, I was speaking with one of the participants here. I won't mention who they were, but we were talking about, it made me start dwelling on this idea of, in AA, we have a statement in recovery, improving one's conscious contact. And the idea coming up against an idea that sort of floats around in non-duality, all there is consciousness. Yeah. So all there is consciousness. And then there's a suggestion, it's tailored for the action figure to improve one's conscious contact, let's say with consciousness. So let's say the sense of being Paul, the sense of self, plays the role of like an aperture, yeah? And then there's consciousness. And in the experience here, the aperture, in a way, defines the expression of consciousness, yeah? First of all, we're saddled with a certain spectrum of hearing and shit like that, of what we can be conscious of. There's limitations. There's supposedly insects that have 7 gates of conscious contact. We have, let's say, 5, and then the 6th gate. But in this story of Paul, in this story of real world and everything like that, there's definitely a sense of consciousness, but we see it as me being conscious, more conscious or less conscious. So the aperture sort of, the identification with that comes after seems to be able to define what's before. So this is one of the dilemmas I ran into in satsang, is when someone would be saying, all right, all we are is consciousness. I was hearing it from Paul, yeah? I was hearing it from the aperture that had defined consciousness as an attribute I had, yeah? So it was totally contrary to the basic programming that I have been an expression of in this dreaming, in this life. And so to the aperture, it seems like based on the aperture's condition, that will also define the consciousness condition. So if I'm feeling whatever, let's say I prove to myself by practicing and doing a lot of shit that I'm more conscious, then the aperture will seem to allow more consciousness in, yeah? If I feel like I fucked up after I left the retreat and I got into an argument with my girlfriend, then the aperture plays the role of sort of decreasing the sense of consciousness. And how it's interpreted by the narration is I'm more conscious and I'm less conscious based on this condition, yeah? That's insane. If all there is consciousness, yeah? That's insane. It's sort of like in recovery, when you come in, realizing that self is playing God, it tries to present the idea of a higher power of your own understanding to make it easier to squeeze that which is playing God into a program about God, let's say. So they say, okay, well, you turn your will and life over to the care of a higher power of your own understanding, yeah? But once you get into the program, hopefully that's going to change, where you're going to have turned your will and life over to the care of a higher power of its own understanding, yes? And of its own understanding, of the higher power's understanding, all there is consciousness. To that which is playing God, I can be more or less conscious. That's it, really. So basically, it's so incredible. All there is consciousness, and then and right at the same moment, but one is not of time. All there is consciousness, and one seems to appear to be true in time, which is I can become more or less conscious. Yeah, but all there is consciousness. Now, is one right and the other wrong, or are they both wrong, or are they both right in their own little category? But the idea of if we don't see what we're not, we're going to be looking at what we are as an attribute that what I'm not can grow or can diminish. Yeah, it's insane to me. Yeah. It's insane to try to convince that which is defining consciousness that it's all it is consciousness. It doesn't make any sense to waste any time there. If you see you're not that which is playing the role of the aperture, what becomes evident? Not to you, but what becomes evident, all there is consciousness. You can't entertain it as what you're not. It doesn't work because all there is consciousness is completely cognitively dissonant to I'm becoming more or less conscious based on what I do or don't do. That's insane. So, and what causes one to seem so and the other not to seem so? And what causes that which is not seem so from Paul to be completely so when I see it from without Paul? Yeah? So what needs to be done? Do I need another methodology to become more conscious as Paul? Only assuring that that which is playing God is going to tell me I'm less conscious as Paul because I didn't meditate today. I watched it in my own life. I see it in others. If they believe their conscious contact is based on meditation and they miss the morning meditation, they feel like they're going to have a terrible day. Immediately, the narration is defined completely. And so they rush home at lunchtime to get in the hour of meditation so that they can show what's that but playing God. I can't see it as anything else. So God is consciousness, let's say, and we're playing God with consciousness. We're believing we're the one who's at the spigot. We can turn it on by what we do or turn it off. You know what I mean? And then the mental state is playing God around the spigot. So I don't, if wherever you are, you believe you need to do something, you better do it, really. I mean, if I really needed, I'd have to, if I really believed I needed to sit quietly to make contact with that which is always so, then I would do it. Yeah, I did when I thought that. Yeah. And by attempting to do it, it led to something. And I saw that that isn't working for me. Now, if it works for you, that's fine. But it doesn't work for me. So for me to sit and try to make contact with that which is always available would be a disservice to what is understood. Yes? I mean, there's a point where you don't need a saddle to ride the fucking horse you're on. Yeah. So this is the thing. Yes, on one level, yeah, I need to do stuff. I need to do this or do that. But on the other point, all there is consciousness. So then what's happening here must be dreaming, must be. If there's all there is consciousness, how could there be something else? So it must be consciousness in dreaming. Yeah, there's a dreaming going a while, not in contrast with consciousness, but within consciousness. Yeah, that's how that. So the statement consciousness is all there is holds its integrity. So there could not be anything else other than consciousness if consciousness is all there is. I mean, so it doesn't matter if it's true or not to you. Just see what you're not and you'll find out if it's true or not. But in a way of speaking, it's like we say in AA, either God is or God ain't. Yeah, it's not like a little 50% God, 48% you, and there's not a mix, so to speak. Yeah. So, and if we are of consciousness or awareness, let's say, you have to see hearing about awareness could be used to sort of deflect that we are awareness. Yes, obviously. Yeah? Hearing about what we are, all the while being it, is a disservice. Hearing about what you're not so you can understand shit, like, oh, how to build an engine or fix leather, shit, yeah. But you can't apply that to what you are unless you're not that. If you really believe you're not that and you're in the process of becoming it, then you're going to need some processes, obviously. Yeah. But it's sort of like in AA, usually in the first few steps where they're telling you basically you're fucked. There's something else that can unfuck you and then turn your own life over to the care of that process. Yeah. It's always framed at first as being convinced, being clear. Yeah. Being convinced that you're screwed is going to really be the basis of being unscrewed. So in a way, non-duality leads you by recognizing duality leads you to being convinced. Yeah. You're convinced of something. You're convinced of all there is consciousness, if you want to say that. Yeah? You're convinced that this is dreaming. It's an activity that's always happening, but nothing happens. Nothing comes to pass. There's all just passing. Yeah, nothing comes to pass. There's no period. There's no end point. There was no beginning point. It's dreaming. It's like a river. It's rivering. Yeah, da 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 da. If you're not convinced of that, and you believe there's a noun called Paul who's trying to become more like a verb called seeing, hearing, feeling. What is that which is seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching? It must be a verb, verbing. Yes. I mean, but we want it to be a noun. So, all right, if you want to be a noun and learn how to verb really good and verb every day, fucking do that because it's going to lead to you having that fail. So you left with your own devices and you'll see they're not your devices. You can't lose here. Yeah. If you do shit, it's going to convince you, hey, there's a certain pointlessness to it. Yeah. If you don't do shit, you may get it already. Who knows? But the fact is, doing or not doing is going to bring you to the same place where you never left. It's got to, sooner or later. Yeah? It's sooner or later, you're going to arrive upon having never left. It's just the way it goes. So we're just sharing. It triggered me this morning because I was seeing, yeah, the validity. If there is a Paul, and Paul could be more or less, and Paul, reading a lot of other people's take on Paul, and Paul's own take on Paul, that his conscious contact is quite less, then Paul seems to be moved and is the moving of trying to become more conscious. Yeah? Now, all well and good. But at a point there, you saw something. You see the underlying fabric of all of that meaning, and it falls through. Yeah? You realize I can't apply what I do. I can't live from the application of what I do, the things that I'm not, like eating them, learning them, getting them, experiencing them. I can't apply that to what I am. It's just, it doesn't work. Yeah? It's not personal. It's not like it didn't work when you were loaded and it's going to work when you're recovered. It doesn't work. Yeah? So, obviously, if we're looking for what we are, we must not be in the sense of what we are. Yes? But actually, even that's not true because what you're not will still be in the looking for what you are, but you'll be resting in the what you are. Yeah? You'll see that which is polling still doing what it used to do, but you won't move. So there'll be a contrast. Just like when I was a kid, I used to know clouds were moving by comparing them to a tree. Yeah? So I'd look at the cloud, and then there was something that wasn't moving, and then I could see the cloud movement by the comparison with the tree. The same thing. When you're resting in what you are, you'll see the activity of the mental state formulating what you're not. You'll see it, yeah? It doesn't mean it stops, but you've stopped, yeah? And that's what gives you the eye. You're not going to see it as it, yeah? You're not going to come to the conclusion what you're not as what you're not. It's not going to happen. You see it from what you are. Yeah? And then you see it as a movement disguised as a noun. That's what it is. It's movement just like everything else that's disguising itself as a noun. Yeah? The noun comes after the movement is claimed and is implied to be before. And then we start at it being before. We start from the noun instead of the verb. And this is, I hope, is the correction to it. Yeah? It's not so. So, like the Course in Miracles says, this is like this is a problem that needs no correction because it's not a real problem. Yes, it's an appearance. It's a little mistake. It's a little appearing in a certain way, and if you just hit the camera side, you'll see it differently. It's not real out there. You hit the camera, you'll see it differently. Non-duality, Zen bitch slap is like hitting the camera. So suddenly you see it differently. And then certain things you'll become convinced of. It will be done, finito, yeah, and then see what happens, yeah. You'll lose interest in traveling lighter because you'll be traveling lighter. You'll see that interest in it has nothing to do with it. You'll be traveling lighter and they'll just keep promoting more traveling lighter. Yeah. So there you go.
Thanks. And
I
there's a
guess.
question by chat. Juna, do you want to come on and ask?
I can if you want.
You don't have to, just ask.
Yeah, it's
What?
up to you.
Well, I typed my question into the chat.
Mm.
But I can repeat it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, or I'll read it for you if you want me to. It's up to you.
Yeah, please read it for me. It's a little sensitive. So.
Okay. Uh, Paul, do you have anything to say for people like me who think we might have already, unfortunately, drank or used our physical health? In other words, do we need a hope for spiritual healing of the body, or is it better just to focus on the possibility of dying without fear?
Repeat that again, Mike. I lost the first part.
Do you have anything to say for people like me who think we might have already, unfortunately, drank or used our physical health? In other words, do
Oh,
we need a
by,
hope?
by alcoholism and addiction, your physical health is chronically bad or been changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then and then you ask, should you?
I probably shouldn't have asked you that because I don't think.
Wait, why don't open up to both? Why is it either or?
Come again?
Why is it either try to improve with spiritual thing or lose the fear of dying? It's not either or. Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, I suppose so. Um, it just I'm very used to the idea of some things aren't curable by spiritual understanding.
Oh, some things are curable by spiritual understanding,
Are not,
are not curable.
yeah, by spiritual understanding.
Well, spiritual understanding. You mean?
What I mean by that is not mental understanding, of course, but
Well, you know,
um,
as well, I think I don't, don't know is a pretty good attitude to have about what can happen or not. I mean, I got severely damaged by getting run over by a car twice, uh, physically and emotionally, I imagine. And the forecast from the doctors was quite pessimistic. I was never going to walk again. I was all tons of things. And thank God I didn't have great faith in them. I did have faith in something other than a person or an institution here. And it didn't go the way they had predicted. Yes.
yeah,
So I'm a real believer. Anything can happen. I don't believe. I don't believe there's a formula to direct the happening to go in a certain outcome. No, but I do believe anything can happen.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Juna. And then we have an East Coast Beach that wants to ask a question. Want to go ahead, Jack?
That's me, the East Coast Beach.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little low.
The reception's a little spotty here, so Paul, that was a great talk, and it's good to see everybody. Um, I got this incredible. I was watching one of your earlier videos today, and I just got this. I can't remember which one it was. I'd have to go in my history and find it again, but I just got this incredible hit, man, and it was just like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of indescribable, you know, and it just put me. I'm very happy right at the moment, let's say, and I necessarily haven't been the past few months, but yeah, it was just an incredible hit, and you know, it's the teachings have definitely been landing for me, and it's putting me in a completely different state, let's say, and yeah. So I was thinking, actually, I in the past few weeks I injured myself a few times. I hurt my shoulder really bad, and
Well, you
then
didn't injure yourself. You got injured.
I got injured, and then I got
Yeah.
injured again, and then I got injured again.
Yeah.
So I was really asking myself, you know, because you always say why, you know, you want to know why these things happen, you know, is it
I
just
don't
dumb
always
luck?
say what.
Right. But my feeling was, it was just, I just took it as a teaching about the attachment to the body, you know, and how this body is like, you know, it's an accident waiting to happen. And so, but again, I just want to tell you about that incredible hit I got today. And thank you very much. And I really appreciate the teachings. Thank you. That's all.
Jack, yeah, thank you. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. I mean, things hit. Uh, we usually get surprised when things go well. There's a habit of, you know, accepting shit. I mean, you know, in a weird way, the mental state has a lot more faith in shit will continue than joy or happiness. And you know, we're a big player in that. It's just good to notice, to see, you know, to see how the mental state, the action figure is used to pledge allegiance to the failed system. I always love it when I'm hearing someone share and they're feeling really great, not Jack, but you know, they're feeling really great and stuff, and then they always have to frame it with "but." You know, it really sucks. Da 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 da. Sort of like, you know, all right, yeah. It's sort of like you're stopping to pledge allegiance to some failed tyranny. You know, oh, don't, you know, I haven't escaped. Don't worry. Don't let the dogs out. I'm still fucked, but I got a little good feeling. Yeah. This is the activity of a slave. Yeah, to me. I mean, seriously. I mean, how did we get so used to shit having long extension and fucking convoluted geometric progressing, and then the whimsical, precarious nature of okayness just flying in or flying out? Look at what we've gotten used to. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, it really is. We've really swallowed a fucking whopper. There's no me or you, but there's so what you have to swallow to sustain and keep the charade of being an action figure up is way, yeah. And it has to blind you to other possibilities because if there was a possibility, you would drop it immediately. You would see how empty its promises and its fucking the promised land is just always promised. You're never going to arrive at the promised land. So yeah, I can't believe I heard her talk and I felt really good. Yeah. Usually I hear a talk and I've got to sign up for a fucking retreat for 3 weeks. My days are intense enough. Why do I want to sign up for an intensive over the weekend? I want to chill out. You can't chill out. I don't know. I just heard these ideas, and they sort of, when they land, you're not the miracle grow, yeah? Just keep yourself on the shelf, and things are going to go really well if you can. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, bro.
Thanks, Jack. And hi, Helen.
Helen. Oh, there's Helen. I see you, Helen.
Oops. Sorry.
You have to unmute yourself, I think.
Unmute.
There you go. You did it.
Can,
You succeeded.
can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
My question is, you hear it quite often among people like yourself about others. Ramana once said, there are no others. And while I still consider myself as a separate being, I do worry, and I know it's selfish about family. What will happen to them? I'll lose them. You know, it's that sense of I'll lose them if they're ill and die. So I know it's selfish that I feel I need to keep them well, and that drives me. But from an absolute level, you can say there are no others.
Honey, Helen, that's not selfish. That's the programming of an action figure. Yeah?
But it is
Some of
selfish. It's
some of
about
it's
self.
totally appropriate for this place. Yeah? And the idea that there was no other wasn't meant to be heard by another. It's meant to be heard from what we are. Yeah, it's obvious from what we are. There is no other. But as an other, it ain't fucking obvious. And saying it 800,000 times and then framing it from a great authority ain't going to do it either. Yeah? The programming is other. You know what I mean? It's so beautiful when you observe there is no other. Yeah, that to me, that has some weight. The idea of trying to convince the other that there is no other, just, I don't know. I feel like let's keep it simple. Just see that which is presented, this thing that's made up and then organized and then pictured as a body, that we're not that. It doesn't mean it's good or bad or anything. It's just what it means in practicality is a huge amount of interest, which is not necessary for it to travel later, gets removed. It gets moved to other possibilities. Yeah, it's weighed down by the interest. Interest is incredible, but a huge amount of interest turns like into a disease. Yes, it's not healthy, not helpful. Yeah, so this thing is just seeing what we're not. And so we don't say you're not a self. We say there's selfing. That's implying you're a self. Yeah? So there is something that's implying yourself. It is. So you're very clear that there's selfing. You've had thoughts. It's not like a giant spiritual leap of faith, yeah, to hold the idea of selfing. Now, self is a different matter, but selfing is an activity that implies a self, yeah? And then the self is presupposed before all activities. Now, when there's an activity of you loving your family, your head says that's selfish, yeah? This is the insanity of the whole thing, yeah? The last thing you probably need to look at is your love for your family. I mean, seriously, there's so much more. Yeah. I mean, I never went to the beach to surf, and I never stopped and I said, I love surfing too much. Yeah, never. I just fucking jumped in the water every chance I got. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. And then the knees went out and I can't do it as much. There you go. Yeah? But this whole idea that we're presenting selfing because there is no self. So we're not trying to dissuade us that there's a sense of self that's produced. That's why when the sense of self hears there is no self, it doesn't go anywhere. So we have to sort of share why that's the case. You would think if there is no self and you proclaim there is no self, yeah, you'd be preaching to the choir. There is no self. But you see, there's a sense of self being produced that rushes ahead of everything that happens and is stated to be the one that's hearing the message that there is no self. That's why it doesn't get through. Yeah? Because then the sense of self claims via the message there is no self, and all it can do is confuse shit with it. Yeah? Because it has no sense of no self. The only sense it has is of self. Yeah? So the sense of self just takes no self and turns it into what? What we're having now is called non-duality. It's become a business. Sooner they're going to have, just like they did with Zen therapy, Zen shoe shine, Zen gardening. There'll be non-duality therapy and non-duality fucking consumerism or something like that. It's gonna get morphed into the sense of self fucking narration. I don't care about there is no self or there is no other. I care about the other that's constantly assumed here. And then when I find out I'm not that, then I don't need to hear there is no other. It's obvious. Yes, it's beautiful. It doesn't go through 30 different pipes and turn into shit. It goes directly to the whack. Hey, there is no other. Yeah? And this thing is, it's not like a miracle because there's never not been another. So it's sort of like, what? Yeah? It's not like, oh, it just happened. Let me tell you, there is no other. No, there is no other means there's never been another. Yeah? It isn't like it just happened because Helen did something. Oh, there is no other. No, that's a fact. Yeah? It doesn't need a parade. There is no other. All there is consciousness. Or let's say all there is awareness. There's much more. Those aren't things you need to hear. You need to sense from. That's what you need. And what's causing them not to be sensed from is what's saying it's the hearer of the message that all you are is awareness. That's why. The pretzel effect isn't a pretzel effect. It's the hearer of it that makes it into a pretzel. Yeah, and turns it into, I got to question every little move I make to see if there's any selfing going on. That's tons of selfing. Yes?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe you need a program because you're insanely in love and trying to manage everyone in your household. Yeah, then you probably need help as Helen. Now, don't keep yourself from that help as Helen by saying there is no Helen. Fucking go to Alan. Yeah? Can't help. Yes? It's just simple. The Toyota needs maintenance. You can't keep saying, well, there is no Toyota. I don't need any maintenance. You're going to fucking drive on flat tires, yeah? Yes? The action figure means love. Fucking no, there's no love. Yes, give me a break. Yeah? I think this is a bastardization of non-duality a lot. I don't like it at all. They, the head, it's what's hearing it is what we want to address. It's not the message. The message, you're a lion, is super clear. You're a lion. You are a lion. 4 words that are basically an observation from a lion point of view. Recognizing that there's a lot of lions thinking they're the sheep costume they're wearing. Someone who's clear that they are a lion tries to share the message. You're a lion. They've realized that hasn't worked. Just like Ramana Maharshi sat in silence. He finally realized no one's getting it. So he brought this who am I thing, the self-inquiry back in. Yeah? He didn't want to go to that card, but hey, nothing's happening, so bammo. So here you go. Nothing's happening, Helen hearing you're a lion. Yeah? So let's talk to the lion that Helen is about Helen. So then maybe the lion that Helen is says, hey, I'm not Helen. Then when it hears you're a lion, it's a fact. Yes, yes. Yeah. It's not, it doesn't try to unify the dualistic dance. It's a statement. You're a lion. It's like, wow. Yeah. It's awesome. It is. It's all based on where you're hearing it from. Yeah. If you're hearing about consciousness as someone who thinks they're conscious and unconscious, you cannot get all there is consciousness. I don't care if you chant it 800,000 times. If you see you're not Helen, you may find out all there is consciousness. And that freaking works. That's direct communication. That there's no innuendo or complexity in that. It's just bammo. Yeah. That's how it's beautiful. But see, we're trying to rush ahead. Helen wants to get the message, and then Helen wanting to get the message distorts the message. And if enough distortion happens, non-duality, as it's been presented, will be gone. There'll be a lot of things called non-duality will have nothing to do with non-duality. There'll be once again duality trying to become less dual by a novel idea called non-duality. It doesn't want to get rid of duality, obviously, but I want less of it. Yeah? Yeah. So I've seen it. So now self wants to become a non-self. It's insane. You know, it's insane. Just hear what we're saying, please. Yeah. The message isn't to Helen. We're trying to get through Helen to what you are. If all there is consciousness, that's the message is being delivered in that idea. It's not being delivered, there's Peter, Helen, Donna. It's being delivered in all there is consciousness. It doesn't have to be aimed. All it has to do is be able to go over the reach of the mental fucking activity. And yes, so we throw it over the mental head so that what you are gets it. And now you start looking at things not from a thing, but from no thing. And then the truth of thingness becomes obvious as a no thing. It's going to be very difficult to convince a thing about no thing. It is. I'm serious. We don't have the time to waste. It just goes around, around, around. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Helen, just be, let you know grace and stuff like that. Just take a shower in it. Yeah, yeah. Don't let Helen will say you only deserve 1 minute. Fuck Helen. Just yeah. You're completely wet. Just stay submerged for a while. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Helen. And we have Bvog is next, second time here.
Yeah. Hi, Paul.
Hey,
Brandon's my name. I just wanted to clarify some things. So the it seems like what you're saying is there's an identification problem as the aperture, if I could
No,
say
the
it that way.
identification isn't a problem unless you don't see the identification.
Right, 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 right. And that would be like, so the selfing's going on, but there's no self. There's dreaming going on, but there's no dreamt,
Yes,
right? And
yes,
so the aperture is like the dreamt and the
yes,
self. This is all
yes.
connected. Okay, because
The
I've
dreamt itself plays the role of an aperture, for sure.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, right,
It's a representation of an aperture. Yeah.
right. I see it, and I seemingly sometimes don't see it, which
Yeah.
is odd to me, and I struggle with that sometimes. I mean, I feel like I went through a bunch of, standard suffering as the aperture for a long time, and then I saw what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not the suffering. I'm not the one that's suffering. And that was like 7 or 8 years ago, and that was a big deal. A lot of relief came from that. But then as time goes on, it seems to suck me back in off and on. And that process is frustrating. But I guess I'm just kind of just talking things out just to hear if you have anything to add to that. I really appreciate your talks. Over the years, I've often just pulled you up on YouTube just to get bitch slapped because it just knocks me back, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I already knew this. I knew this
Yeah.
already,
Exactly.
and I don't know why I keep forgetting or seemingly forgetting. Maybe that's just like the programming, I guess, is what you would say. Maybe I don't know.
Yes. It's the seemingly forgetting.
Yeah.
But then something that's seemingly being remembered gets frustrated about that.
Right. Right.
We see the seeming forgetfulness. We're not seeing the seeming remembering.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So now, if you in duality, it'd always be wise to flip the coin because there's two sides. So there's the forgetter and the remember.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. Okay.
The remember isn't an authentic observing. That's been claimed. Yeah, completely.
What's that?
That's not an authentic observer. It's based on an observation, but it's been claimed and now made into the rememberer.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. So it's already.
See, the seeing sees everything. So if there's a seeming forgetfulness, it sees that. If there's a seeming rememberingness, it sees that. But from the seeing, neither of them mean anything. Yeah.
Right.
What's fast is the claiming of remembering brings guilt to the claiming of forgetting. Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what.
yeah. The ownership of the remembering is what scolds you when there seems to be the forgetting.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's clear.
So, but it's the same coin. Yeah, yeah. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, I'm telling you right now, I know when the seeming forgetting gets emphasized, but I'm telling you, the amount of time and space that's taking is getting lesser and lesser.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're on your curve is going up. It's
Yeah.
not getting flattened.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What more do you want?
I. Good question.
Yeah. Yeah. Humility is humility in a sense makes a lot out of nothing. It's
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I just and it even bleeds into the action figure. Yeah. It bleeds into the action figure. So sometimes it takes a while to percolate to the top, but it does. Yeah. The action figure gets dyed, D-Y-E-D. It does.
Yeah.
To it, all of the awakenings are rude awakenings. Yeah, they they sort of become like really sense felt begrudgingly, so to speak. But the futileness of the action figure wanting it to be different is a great state for the action figure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I had whatever, you know.
It seems like it tends to be whenever emotions, big heavy emotions come through, then it seems that that's when the seeming forgetfulness happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not like its traits and its characteristics are finite. Yeah. It may help if you recognize it, you watch it. It only has maybe 12 dance steps. It doesn't do well with improvisation.
Well, it's so obvious after the fact, after you get, after it opens up, it's like, you know,
Well, yeah, well, that's speeding up. Time doesn't have to go the same speed. So
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. I like the statement in the Course in Miracles when people speak of this or they're frustrated that things don't stabilize or whatever. I like the statement, hey, I may have changed it, I don't know. But how I remember it is, you and I are the dreaming of the dreaming, and we're dreaming ourselves out of it. We're dreaming ourselves out of the dreaming. Yeah. And as we do, the dream will get happier. The dream will get happier. And I have to say that's been true as an
Yeah,
observation of this action figure.
I
So,
definitely feel that too.
I mean, the curve is up, right? And the momentum is that way. Yeah. So you just have to realize the head wants to emphasize whatever supports its narrative. Like, so the tiniest little fuck gets expanded into a huge dilemma, and then it forgets miracles and great gratitude and contentment and serenity as if
Yeah,
it's nothing.
yeah, for sure.
It's not an unbiased judge. It's very biased. So, yeah,
Yes, I
yeah,
can see
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Just keep coming if you like. There's people with like minds, so it's
Yeah,
nice.
no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
All right. We're leaving. We're going to Fritz, I think.
Hey, Paul.
Hey,
So you were talking about becoming convinced,
being
and
convinced, not becoming convinced, being
being
convinced.
convinced. Okay, my mistake. Um, but if so, I think this kind of my interpretation. It comes in of throwing above the head, so something
Yeah.
else catches it, because if let's say the person, so called, is intellectually convinced, oh yeah, non-duality is a thing, somebody else can come along and convince you, no, it's not a thing, or your own thoughts, more likely, will convince you, no, no, that's just an idea. It sounds nice, but no, not really. So that's, is that
Well,
what you
that's
throw
where
over the
you're
head?
becoming convinced, you see. Becoming convinced is always going to be in the act of unbecoming convinced. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm talking about being convinced. It's different. Yeah, it's a different type of feeling. I have an example. That's why I use it. I had an example in my own life painted with broad strokes where I was pretty much living in a cocoon of denial because I had been dwelling on a bottom in life from alcoholism and addiction, from mind, really, yeah, from selfing, taking, yeah. And of course, my head was working overtime to keep the severity of the situation away so I could continue to survive, scraping around trying to get loaded as much as I could. And then on a regular day at the office of just doing just that, waking up out of a blackout in a situation that was foreign to me, drinking a bottle of Royal Gate vodka, hoping that I could waste time and hope that someone with money would come and we could get drugs. Something happened where the movie was put on pause, like the mental screen, not the outside. That continued, but the movie about the movie just stopped. The screen went blank, and something downloaded in that interval. And in AA, we call it the innermost. Or it's not in the head. It's not in the mental states.
I get
I don't
what
know
you're
what
saying.
it is, but I know what it ain't. So something downloaded in there, and at that moment, I was convinced thoroughly, because I've looked back on it for 32 years now. I was convinced of a fact that had been a fact for quite a while, that I was powerless over alcohol and drugs, and my life was unmanageable because I kept trying to manage it. Yeah, that was super, super clear. And my mental activity was to keep it unclear as much as possible. And then it broke through and it was done. And I was established in that, being convinced. And then I met a way of life called recovery that night. And for 32 years, that moment, that interval, that pause became the trunk a life grew out of, yeah, for 32 years. There hasn't been a changing of the trunk or pasting some twigs or branches on it. It's just a fact. So when I use the word being convinced now, it comes from that sense feltness. And when I heard non duality, there was intellectual convincing, and then there was a being convinced, which was quite different. And because I had a sense of what that meant to me from an experience in my own life, it was clear when I heard you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, just like when I got waxed sober, when I heard that statement, it showed me my whole life since I've been 6 years, and that's exactly what I had been doing. I was using Buddha to get out of Buddha, or to find the Buddha, or as in AA they call it, self can't get out of self. I was trying to get out of self as self, but I thought the self that was trying to get out of self was Paul, which made total sense to get out of self. And then suddenly I was convinced of that. And there's never been a debate about it ever since. Yeah. It's just a fact. So this is what I like to use the term of a spiritual shoe store. We're just putting out statements that are coming from the fact. They're not coming from where we are about the fact. They're coming from the fact. Huang Po was coming from the fact when he said, hey, to all his little students, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. You can't use mind to seek mind. You can't use light to seek light. He wasn't talking to Jim, Mary, Sue, Bill. He was talking to the Buddha, to light and to mind. That's where the fact you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha is a fact. To Jim and Steve, it may not be a fact. Jim may be busily using Buddhism to seek the Buddha for 30 years. Yeah? But when it's heard from the Buddha, it's a fact. Yeah? It doesn't need a commentary. It doesn't need an addendum. It doesn't need further clarification. It's just super clear. I mean, if the shoe fits, you wear it. Yeah?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's as simple as looking out the window and saying, oh, it's daytime. It's not, you have to think, well, it could be daytime, but on the other hand,
It
it's like
becomes that. So non-duality isn't when you have the fact of duality, you're in non-duality. Yes. When duality, the expressions, and a lot of them, you don't need to know all of them, but the movement of duality is now a fact. You've seen it. That's the fact of non-duality. You saw that from non-duality. Yeah. The understanding of duality doesn't come from duality. It comes from non-duality. That's how you recognize it. Yeah, we're not of duality. That's why we can recognize it. That's why we can't recognize non-duality, because we are non-duality, let's say. We can recognize what we're not. That's the direction of the teaching.
Yeah.
Recognize what you're not, and you will find out what you are. And it will have always been a fact, and it will always be a fact. Is it a fact to you today or not? That could be seemingly so. But is it a fact? Yes. It is a complete fact. Yeah.
I concur.
So that's a damn good resting point. I mean, how many things that are called a fact in this world aren't moved by the dualistic tides? Very few. But what we're talking about what we're of, and they're not moved by the dualistic tides. They don't increase and decrease. They don't get close and far. They don't come and go. It's a fact. It's like Popeye. I am that I am that I am that I am. I mean, it's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does Popeye have to chant that? No. Popeye is the mistake in a way. Yeah. So you see, you're not Popeye, and then the facts become obvious. Will the facts ever become obvious to Popeye? No. But when you see you're not Popeye, the facts will become obvious. Do you want me to say it again? Will they become obvious to Popeye? No. Yeah. When you lose interest in Popeye, the facts become obvious. If you're incredibly interested in Popeye, learning the facts, it doesn't work. Yeah. Does it? I
No.
mean, look at your own experience. Don't believe me.
Yeah.
What was the biggest obscuring thing? I'm not talking about becoming a six-pack ab person. I'm talking about finding what you already are. Has it worked being extremely interested in it? No.
No.
You see the extreme interest in it is the clouding of it. Yeah, because you're it. That's the whole point. Yeah. What could fool reality other than reality? Nothing can fool reality. Yeah. But
Yeah.
reality can seemingly fool reality. Yeah. So guess what? There we are.
One of those bizarre paradoxes, eh?
Well, to a failed system. Yeah, the thought system, it goes against its logic, so it thinks it's a paradox. It's as clear as day from a certain point of view. It's not paradoxical at all. It's paradoxical when duality wants to translate it. Yes. Duality wants to lend weight to one end or the other end. It doesn't want to see the whole unreality of it. It says, all right, I want to make this end less real, and I want to make this end more real. Yeah? So it's like a seesaw. So when you rush to make this more real, it goes down. Yeah, and yeah, and you run there, it goes down. You can't do it. Yeah?
Thanks, Paul.
Who 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 do you know, or what person do you know that seems to be super clear, arrived at non-duality? No, the clarity was always available at all times. It wasn't able to be approached by duality. That's all. So he or she actually saw what they're not, and that's the finding out of what they are. Yeah. I don't know. Ask these people that you believe are awake. Did anything they did produce the awakeness? No. Probably. They'll have to admit no. They didn't even had no idea what was going on. Yeah.
I'd say in most cases it snuck up on them, if truth be told.
Yes. So basically, the only knowledge you really have is not of what you are, it's of what you're not. Yeah. And we have ample knowledge. It's just not seen. We're looking at it from not the wrong, but we're looking at it from a point of reference, part and parcel of it. Yeah. The system can't see the system. Yeah. So, all right, Fritz.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Thanks, Fritz. We've got iPad 27 up.
iPad 27. Where is iPad 27? Oh, iPad 27 is laying down. All right. We don't want to bother you. Just yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, wait a minute. I recognize iPad 27.
Oh no, is that Mark?
Make sure you block him out from now on.
That's all right. I'm already blocked out.
He comes out as I-26, iPad 28. It's the same one.
270.
Zen Mark.
I just wanted to say one thing. If the shoe fits, wear it. If the foo shits, clear it. That's all. I'm done here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
I guess. Thank you. See you, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
See you.
Yeah. See you. Can you see me?
I
see
can.
you. I don't know how this shit works, you know. This is so way ahead of me.
You're a little
I'm
off
going back
center.
out to work.
Be comfortable.
I'm going
almost
back out
off
to
the
work on a
screen.
stone wall. Bye. How do I shut off?
I like the asylum pillows. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah. They let me.
Every day he's been saying he's going back to work. He hasn't left the asylum in 8 years.
No, actually never.
Was today Jello Day?
I can't. I arrived in the asylum, and I will leave in the asylum. Coming empty-handed, leaving empty-handed.
All right, bro.
For me,
I'll
they
see you
said
soon.
coming empty-headed, leaving empty-headed.
I'll see you
All right.
soon.
All right, I gotta shut down now. I don't know how to shut off.
We can hear you.
In the left corner, it says leave. Everyone is hoping for the same result.
Oh, okay. Your result. If the foo shits, clear it. Here we go.
Hit leave.
Is it Mark?
Yeah, it was then Mark.
Oh.
And since that was short, there were a couple other hands up. Do you guys still have questions?
You don't know how lucky all of you are. Only a few know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's funny. Yes, all right.
Nobody's putting their hands back up. Oh, there we go.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
Somebody that
we
didn't
can
have
hold
their
it
hand up.
down.
Kate P.
All right. Kate P.
Hey. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not really here for the non-duality, but I am here over and over again because there's so much tension, I feel. I've been sober for a long time, and I have so much tension since getting clean and sober that I found you here. So I guess I feel like the more distance I have from, or the more I can identify what I'm not, the more I feel more tension in my system. Like oh, how long am I going to feel this way? When is it going to go dormant? When is it going to become active? And
Kate,
I'm
can I
just,
just jump in a second, Kate?
yeah,
This is just a humble view. That which is speaking, with all of these concerns isn't you.
right. I even sense that, but there's this drive still. It feels more, I don't know, red and angry like a rash than ever when I recognize that.
Well, yeah, when that thing that says it's you recognizes it, it's not, it may not be happy. You have to go take a step farther back if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when something recognize it and feels like the rash is stuff, maybe ask, who am I? Who is this Kate? Because it may be masquerading as you once again. Yeah. It's always, see, it plays the role of seeing the you. Yeah.
Mm.
See, you start noticing a you that has been contracting and not conducive to your own life and all that stuff. But there may not be a recognition of that which is claiming to see that you is also a you. It's also self. Yeah. So you may be caught in Kate trying to get out of self, and Kate is AKA self. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to throw a wrench in that, just ask, who is this Kate? If it's you, let it verify itself. If it ain't, it'll probably say it's me, me, and then ask, who's this me? And there'll be a very large space there, and maybe you're more of that than this idea of what's claiming to be you. Yeah, and maybe then this idea that it's presenting you, which is not true, that every time you get a little more relief, there's incredible stress. That's not the case. The head is bringing the stress into it by claiming it. Yeah. It's claiming the relief to get you afraid that there's going to be more stress. It's all bullshit. I'm so sick of seeing it get its little move. Yeah? We're here. We're looking at the dance floor. I'm telling you, the steps that you're taking aren't yours. Yeah? This is what it does. It claims to be the one who has the relief, and therefore stress is born out of that. Yeah? And so it gets to be a conflict. Therefore, if relief equals stress, it's fucking insane to me. Yeah? It's insane. Yeah. It's all right. I don't want stress, so I'll give up the possibility of being relieved. What an insane fucking master we're living under. Yeah. Recognizing it's not you. Whatever presents to be Kate, who's disturbing the redness and the rash, is not you. Yeah. It's been pulling this move for so long. You basically, its ass has the driver's seat is contoured by its fucking ass. It's so familiar sitting there. Well, fucking question it. Because
Yeah.
look at where it's taken you. Can you imagine living in a situation that relief equals or equates to stress? How fucking weird that is. Jesus Christ, do you see it? It's insane. There's a case being built inside you. The more relief, the more stress. Hence, less relief, less stress. What an insane fucking deal it's transacting us. Yeah. It's like what I see with people a lot. They're afraid of the God that's the boogeyman. So then they tithe every day incidental worry about mundane shit so the big foot of God won't come out of the sky and squish them. It's called slavery. Slavery to a mental state. You want freedom? Freedom doesn't come from stress relief, relief stress. It's freedom from that, both. Your freedom from relief and freedom from stress. Yeah? So if you're serious about it, or you want to play the two sides of it, but if you're serious about it, then when it presents this thing, relief equals stress, ask who is it? Who is that? Yeah? It cannot be of wholeness. It can't be of non duality. It can't be of what we are. It's coming from the in and out, the big and bad. Yes, the good and bad, the close and far. And it does these things. Yeah? Listen, if you fucking even try to be free, it's going to be such a hell. Such a hell. Yeah, Jesus Christ. What an insane fucking deal. Yeah. All right, so I'll just accept the chains and then I won't get whipped 30 times. Wow. I don't know. I just don't like that shit. So, all right, Kate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And watch it. It will always premise everything after it'll get into but, and to me, but is us pledging allegiance to the failed fucking mechanism. But how is it going to work next week or whatever? Fucking man, if I felt relief now, the thoughts that would come after, there would be no interest in them. I would rest in relief. Yeah. I wouldn't be glued to the forecast. The relief won't be here tomorrow. What is it going to be like on Wednesday? I would just enjoy the space that's available. Yeah. That's not a heroic, Homeric, Herculean task. It's fucking seeing blue is blue and red is red. Yeah. How can there be a huge psychology about a response to relief? There's just relief. Yeah. All right, let's go to Robert.
Hey guys, good to see you, Paul, and great to be back. I don't know why. I guess I wanted to bring up the word infection because you used to talk about it a bit, and now that we're kind of in this seeming global infection, along with all the other infections, I thought it might be helpful to get reminded as someone else who talked today. I just want to say I'm so thankful that I can check in over the years at different points and kind of get recentered when self gets lost. And I think I have to control shit, or I start worrying about shit, and I get reminded. And you've been so helpful to so many of us over so long, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, Robert, that's great, man. Isn't that just a nice possibility that on a Saturday you could go on a fucking iPad and then connect and then, you know, be chilled? Fuck, I think that's a lot to be grateful for, to tell you the truth. I mean, uh, the idea of infection.
You think you used to talk about a parasite, right?
Yes, the parasite, you see, I try to show for anyone who is in drug addiction or any kind of addiction, but it can be applied to anyone. I was I was obsessed with cocaine. I wasn't, but there was an obsession with cocaine, and I was the vehicle for that consummation. I mean, obsessed. And using cocaine was like a religion to me, really. When I shot up coke, it was like a religion, sacrament. My girlfriend would tell people who came in, hey, this, don't fucking make noise. This is his religion. Yeah? And, yet all of those years, I never thought once that I was cocaine. I never became cocaine. Yeah? No matter how much I did, there was a clear line between whatever me is and cocaine. Where we are at with the infection of the mental state is being cocaine. We're starting from the premise we are the drug we're obsessed with, which is totally different than being obsessed with a drug. Yeah. What we're at least attempting to hope to share is to see that what you're obsessed with isn't you, it's a drug. Yeah? To separate the cocaine from you, because you can be free from cocaine. You can't be free from you as you. Yeah? And to me, the mental addiction to the idea of being the doer, the thinker, the feeler is just that. It's starting at an incredible point I never even got close to in the obsession with cocaine. We're starting from that. We take ourselves to be the drug we're obsessed with. We're obsessed with selfing. We are. We're not. The mental state is. And so we're starting from there. And the first thing is, if we're not clear of the separation between the Coke and Paul, yes, Paul will try to be free from the Coke as the Coke. Yeah? This is what we're using this analogy for. See that what you're calling you may not be you. It's the first and foremost point. Yeah? Because everything else, trying to get relief from Coke as Coke isn't going to work. It's just more Coke. Really, yes? If you can understand it with this analogy. So we have to see, hey, maybe, just maybe, I'm not that. Yeah? We don't have to see who Paul is because Paul thinks it's Coke. We got to see what Coke is and see we're not that. Yeah? And then let's start from there. This is what I feel. Yeah? At least get the horse in front of the cart instead of the way it is now, because we are taking ourselves to be the drug we're obsessed over. The drug of self, we start at that point. Yeah? So that's why every other step is pointless unless this is clear. And that's why when people talk about all you are is Paul and you're a Coke, it doesn't work. We don't get the message. Yeah? You think you're Paul, but you're actually cocaine. And so and the cocaine is claiming to be the hearer of the message, so it's going to distort the message. Yeah? So cocaine may try to become more like Paul, which is just more cocaine. So let's get clear. There is an activity that has a confusion at its base of what we are and what we're not. And we may be having a lot of what we're not in our idea of what we are. We gotta sort of tease it out a little bit. Yeah? I mean, seriously. If not, you may be moving towards things under a false premise. It may be the cocaine that's practicing something, not you. Yeah? So let's just get clear. But this infection, the cherishing of self, is so beyond any drug addiction. We're starting at where most, and I mean, I was a fucking extreme cocaine addict. It wasn't like recreational. I was a fucking intravenous drug user for quite a while, and that lifetime is short. Shooting cocaine doesn't last long. Yeah? And I never got close to thinking I was cocaine, ever. Yeah? We're starting from there. We're starting from there. We think the condition we're in is normal. We think this is the real starting point. It ain't. So we're attempting to sort of describe all the activities that imply the noun of Paul that's being so generally assumed to be us, so that what we are can see what we're not. Instead of constantly trying to convince what we are not what it is. It doesn't work. If it worked, satsangs, there'd be 5 of them, 4 meetings, and then everything would just be a joyous celebration. Yeah? If the message that you are a lion worked, it would be very short-lived. You would get it in like 5 minutes because you are a lion. And then you could join everyone and roar and have a grand old time. But is blocking the information to getting through. Yeah? It is. So I felt like by hearing satsangs, there had to be a pivot, And I felt like this needed to be emphasized. And then when I read stuff by Ramana, it seemed like he emphasized it unbelievably, calling it the problem and the greatest mystery. Well, it started to be where I present things from, and I haven't changed in all these years. I'm open to have a new directive, but I haven't gotten one. Because I believe humbly, but I am completely, thoroughly convinced if this isn't seen, you're going to be looking from it. I do. I'm just convinced of it. And nothing that I have noticed has proved me otherwise. So I am totally convinced about the message and the direction of it. Yeah, completely convinced. Yeah, because we don't even see the difference between the drug and us. Yeah.
His eyes,
So talk about an infection. I mean, it's
and
it's
these eyes,
unbelievable.
these eyes deceive us constantly.
Constantly, the thought
Constantly
system
deceive us.
deceives us. The eyes deceives us. The
And
interpretation of life deceives us.
right.
Perceptions deceive us. They're all being used as a deceptive, not purposely, really. They're affirming something that isn't true. So in a way, they're deceptive, but they're totally working with their job assignment, which is to reinforce the assumption that you're a someone. Yeah, they're incredible at it.
And the power of the eyes as a judgment toward skin type, body, shape, where we live, what we do, all our senses that you speak of, the hearing, the seeing.
Yes.
The eyes in many ways play a very big factor in sort of shaping how we get on this trip of being.
Most definitely, most definitely. Vision is the heavy weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
In most cases. Of course. You know, it's sort of like going against not believing your own eyes.
Mhm.
There's such a complete faith in that, yeah, that the eyes alone tell the truth. Yet the eyes are very, very deceptive. As the Course says, you're seeing through eyes that are not yours, yeah? And they're telling you something that's not meant for you. So basically, there's a part of us that's listening into the K-Paul. The K-Paul isn't being directed at that. It's being directed at the mental state, yeah? And then there's an aspect of us that's listening into it, and we're going, what the fuck? What's going on? How can this be so? Yeah, it's a trip.
And you
But
talked the
yeah,
other day about dreaming, and then the state of dreaming and the state of, I don't know, awareness. It was just interesting, that connection as well, that we disregard our dreams. We think they're, I don't know what we think, but
well, we disregard our dreams because we think the awake dream is real.
right.
So from the awake dream, we pass judgment. We don't, but there's a passing of judgment on the dreaming at night. All the while protecting the awake dream, not to be questioned.
Thank you
Because
so
it's
much.
so different than the dreaming at night. But in fact, it isn't at all. It's insane, whatever.
That's why LSD was so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, now they're trying to use it. I like how all these things they're trying to use now medicinally. Yeah. They're all ayahuasca. They're all everything they're trying to use therapeutically now. What do you think people were doing in the past? But they were getting arrested for it. We basically were using it for therapy. We wanted some fucking relief. We didn't know what was going on. Yeah? Remember they used to call mind police? Maybe they are. Maybe they're the mental state police. Yeah. They don't want any other possibilities other than the ones they ordained for you to become possible. Yeah. All right. Well, that's that, I think.
Thank you, Paul.
Hey, thank you so much, Robert. If there isn't anyone else, let's have our fond farewells. Yeah? Is there anyone else? No?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm going to start right where I am here. Oh, Zoe just appeared. Sorry, Zoe, we're leaving. Zoe, Malcolm, Sarah, Yariv, Kate P, Keith, Alan. Nice to see you, Alan. Roxanne. Nice to see you, Roxanne. Fritz. This is a heavy hitter square. All these folks.
Angela.
We got Luca, Mickey. Mickey, nice to see you, Mickey. Robert, Sukanya Macaulay. I got it pretty good that time, I think. Ben Clark. Oh, Ben. Nice to see you, Ben. iPad just went somewhere. We got Francis. Francis, nice to see you with Jesse. Let's see, Virginia. iPad appeared again. Let me go to this next one. We got Helen. Glenda O'Driscoll. Nice to see you, Glenda. We got Andre. Virginia jumped over to this one, too. We got Sky. Sky is taking a rest. Holding up all those clouds all day. We're tiring. Yes. We got Jim and Trish. Nice to see you, folks. We got Mike C. Gary, living large in the corner. It's nice. We got Michael. Nice to see you, Michael. Rob, and his little his lazy boy. Nice to see you, Rob. Nice sky there. I see Maui sky. Dennis and Al. Nice to see you, Dennis. We got Z Woodman. Yep. We got Sally. Nice to see you, Sally, in there. Barbara and Roman. Always a pleasure. 944272. Nice to see you, Natalie. Natalie, she's got the dream catcher. No dream catcher is big enough to catch you, Natalie.
Can I say a joke?
But what?
A joke.
A joke? Sure.
I found a non-dual Muppet Show non-duality. Can you imagine?
What did you say?
Muppet Show non-duality.
I didn't understand the first word.
Muppet Show.
A Muppet Show non-duality?
So I come back and I have some dolls here. They're my friends. And I asked them, okay, you want to hear some music, yeah? Like this, spontaneously, you know? And what do you want to hear? And they told me, Muppet Show, the theme song. You know what's in the beginning? The mana mana. And it comes,
I'm having trouble with it.
It's supposed to be a joke, yes.
Yeah, I know. I just, but I'm not following.
You're getting a lot of.
Yeah, I'm going to direct.
So the guy goes the song like mana mana, do 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 do, and at the end, it's the amazing non-duality closing, like the two, and it dawned to me that the singer is you because it looks like you, yeah. You throwing the message over our heads, you know,
Yes.
and you're still saying the same mana 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 mana, and then at the end, the two judges, Mike and Nick, yeah, like the two judges, the one judge said to the other, the question is what the mana mana is, and the other one says, well, the question really is who cares.
There you go, Natalie.
I was just cracking up.
Rob, I think Natalie, you could sell yourself to be in comedians' audiences because you'd have the whole place laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. I made
Nice
my
to
first
see you, Natalie.
sketch of you. I made my first sketch of you today. No, yesterday.
Hopefully a limited edition.
You see it? I'll put it in your book.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can't see it. But yeah, send it to Mike. I'm trying to blow it up. I can't blow it up. Probably looks better than the real thing, so send it over.
Yeah, you have a golden tooth and a golden crown. It
All
says
right.
here. It says here. It's not the love and gaze because I have eyelashes on you. Yeah, you're wearing mascara here.
Oh,
It's
mascara.
not mascara. It's not the love and gaze. It's not the golden crown. It seemed that I got this. It seemed I got this, but you will never get it.
I wear mascara other than on Zoom. I'll see you, honey. I'll see you, Natalie. Barbara and
Thanks.
Roman, nice to see you. They both went horizontal. Yeah, that's good. Appropriate way to receive the message. Donna, nice to see you and your cohort, your couch cohort. Nice to see you.
Having ice cream.
Oh, hey guys. I'm gonna go. All right, Michael, Rob, Richard, my main man. Nice to see you, Richard. Say hello to Etta for us. Yeah. And then we got Mike. Mike is the man who does all this, the platform and everything. So just a little gratitude thrown Mike's way. We got Z, George, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Void have come out. It must be my wedding day if Mr. and Mrs. Void came out. Far out. We got BVOG. Nice to see you again. Jess Lockhart. Yeah. Mike is ready for his afternoon nap. Raju, thank you so much, Raju, for being here. Sharon, nice to see you yesterday. And that's it. There's T-shirts galore. Donate if you like. We'll be back on. We got Monday, wait a minute. Tuesday, Thursday is recovery on the website, Pacific time. Wednesday, Saturday is sort of the non-duality, Pacific time. All information's on the website, easy to access. And I hope to see you guys again. Thanks a lot for this incredible opportunity. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And at the talk,
Thank you.
Mike will keep keep the place open, so see you later. See you, Sky. Thanks for all the Sky did the T-shirt place. Incredible amount of variation. See you.
Nice.